Hello, and welcome to I Choose You, the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. My name is Jeremy Zielik. I'm the host and Alton Brown of the group. Joining me this week, as always, is
Friend of the show, Ben Montoya.
Ian Davis, the Jim Henson of the show.
Oh shit!
And when you're here, your family, Evan Aubrey.
All right. Whoa. People are cracking their drinks, so let us know, what are you drinking this week?
Well, I can see, Jeremy, that you have a green soda again for the third week in a row.
Is it the same one?
It is, but okay. LaCroix boys, but I'm going to do a little something different this week. I've got this cup, right?
Is it full of ice?
It is not full of ice. It's empty.
God. You learn nothing, Jeremy. You learn nothing.
Well, but I'm going to do a little LaCroix boys mixology. So we got this Jones soda, right?
Okay. Are there like cocktail recipes for this now?
No, it doesn't taste like much, right?
Sure.
Ben has confirmed this. Ian has confirmed this. It's just kind of sweet soda water, maybe a hint of lime. Even though it smells like green chili, you want it to be better.
That's some good ASMR.
Yeah, I can hear it. It's sizzling.
I am going to make it better because this week I was shopping at everyone's favorite store, Trader Joe's, and I picked up a bottle of jalapeno limeade.
That's what we need.
And let me tell you, I might not be able to open this because it's kind of wet. Well, roasted.
Seriously? You can't
oil.
Jeremy, get a washcloth or something.
Take the glass bottle that you just emptied and put a little dent in the lid.
Dent in the lid? What does that mean?
Yeah, put a dent in the lid.
You can smack it.
Smash the bottle over the other bottle. Use the blunt end, the big end.
Don't just look at it, and when you see a little dent, then you're ready to turn.
Just ready for it to collapse.
This is hard to watch.
I don't want to break it.
You're not going to break it.
Well,
come on, Jeremy.
As I try to get to open this bottle, I should have done this beforehand. This is bad prep.
Is the limeade cold?
Yes.
Okay. And the soda was cold.
Yes.
Why did you choose jalapeno limeade to go with green chili soda?
Because this was what was at the Trader Joe's.
That was the only thing.
Well, this was the only. I went in. It was the only thing I could purchase.
I can see why, because ultimately, what I would want from a green chili lime soda is something akin to a jalapeno limeade juice, but just like carbonated.
Yeah.
So even though I think it's a different pepper flavor than the green chili, I feel like it makes sense.
If mixing it doesn't quite come through, might I recommend just putting that limeade through a soda stream, and then you basically have what we need.
Yes. Well, why don't you guys talk about your drinks? I'm gonna go to the kitchen and get my fucking rubber thing to open this.
Okay.
All right. What do you got?
This mocktail corner is important, so we'll definitely try to make it happen. I am drinking a Stone Brewing Delicious IPA.
Excellent. Again, any drinks? I've got mango orange spindrift.
Ooh, mango orange.
Tropical. How about you, Ian? Just some water?
I don't have anything at all because I walked through my door, went to the bathroom, and then sat down to record this show.
Man.
Oh. Well, do you have something that you would rather be drinking and cracking?
If I could have anything right now, probably a nice
Bud Light
IPA.
next. Oh.
Shit. No, you're right. I would love I'd love 5 Bud Light next.
Right.
It's it is the drink of the summer.
Yeah. It's the champagne of Bud Lights.
All right. Did you get it?
Yes, it's open now.
Thank God. Ooh.
Wow.
It's like a magic trick.
It smells like lime, which is a good thing, but I've been fooled before.
I've had that jalapeno limeade. It's good. So I think that you're gonna be in the ballpark of a quite refreshing drink.
Can you just put that up to the camera one more time? Not the big one, the thing you mixed. I want to see the color was quite Nickelodeon slime green. Oh, antifreeze.
What's the ratio, Jeremy?
Well, it's a soda, 1 bottle of it. I'd say about 2 tablespoons of limeade.
2 tablespoons.
Interesting ratio. I would have done the opposite.
Half and half?
I still want it
Just
to
a
be,
splash.
well, I want it to be fizzy still.
Just a
I
splash.
would have
for
done
bubbles.
0% soda, 100%
That
lime.
limeade.
It's like a reverse mimosa.
Yeah. Okay. Let me give this a whirl.
Bum bum bada bum bum.
It's better.
Okay.
All right.
Does it taste? Well, hold on. All right, now you need to taste the limeade by itself, so you know what the difference is. Take a little drink from the bottle.
Okay, I'm gonna
Take a
drink from this
pull.
giant glass bottle of limeade.
Don't pretend like you haven't done that before.
Yeah, you live by
It's so
yourself,
big.
Jeremy. You're allowed to do that.
Tastes like kind of tastes like guacamole, but
Oh,
What?
so does the spice actually like come through?
no, not at all.
So
Really?
It's not,
Is-
it's not spicy, but you can tell that it has the jalapeno flavor. I think translating the capsaicin to a beverage might just be kind of complicated at the moment, if that makes sense. From like a pepper to the beverage, but it does make the soda better because it actually tastes like soda now.
Okay.
Well, so after trying the stuff pure, is there a difference?
Yes.
If so, what?
Well, for this, first of all, it's carbonated. It's a little sweeter because it's soda water or it's soda, so it has a little bit more sugar in it. And it just mostly tastes like that, but sweeter and carbonated. Like
Okay.
again, the biggest issue with the Jones Hatch Green Chili Soda is that it doesn't really taste like anything. And now in this context, I think it tastes kind of what I wanted, like in the first place.
Right.
all that work for
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
being a slightly more satisfied.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah, it's
well,
not
I'm
bad.
glad that we landed on some sort of mix-in that
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing you always want from a soda is you have to make it better yourself.
Well, now you could do, because you still have like, I don't know, I'm bad at counting, but like 9 other bottles that you have to get rid of at this point, right?
Yeah, I have five. I have 5 left.
Oh, you have 5 left.
Man.
Okay. So what you could do maybe is like for Halloween, you could make like a giant like punch bowl full of the green soda with the limeade, and that way it's like it's a little of a witch's brew,
Mm-hmm. Maybe like today I first saw my first Starry at a soda stream. Maybe I sneak in with my my green chili soda and I mix it with the Starry, another weak ass soda. And
Yeah.
Maybe
And I've
it'd
just
cancel out.
Yeah, they
Just be
cancel out
water.
and it turns into regular water.
Man.
It's like
Bubbles
mixing
going
like
opposite direction.
it's like mixing sodium and lithium. Is it lithium? Yeah, and you get salt, and you're like,
Mhm.
or sodium, or I forget what the other one is. But it's like
NaCl is the
yeah, chlorides.
chloride's
Yeah.
the one.
It's late, folks. It's late, folks. I had 2 margaritas for lunch, so you know how.
Man,
For lunch.
rolling deep.
Well, lunch. I had lunch at 5 p.m. So it was
Happy
basically dinner. Yeah, it was happy hour. I got the margaritas $3 off. So
This
Hell
is tangentially maybe slightly related, barely to LaCroix Boys. But so Ben, you were on a plane recently.
I was.
What's your plain drink of choice?
Plain drink of choice. Interesting that you ask. It's 2 of them. It's either ginger ale or Coke. And I feel like if I'm feeling a little bit like sad, I get a ginger ale. And if I'm just feeling like a little normal, I go for a Coke.
The ginger ale's a good like pick me up.
It just reminds me of childhood for some reason. That's just the thing that I think about when I'm like on a plane. Sometimes like I remember being a kid and getting a ginger ale that makes me feel better on a plane.
on the sody pop. The sody fountain. You know what's funny is that you mentioned getting a Coke. Is that airplanes are probably the only time I drink Coke in my modern life. Yeah, I don't really. First of all, novelty sodas aside, I don't really drink sodas generally unless they're funny. And then when I do get a soda, I usually go on a different route than a regular Coke. But I don't know. I think on an airplane it like is good because it's it's a little something and has a little bit of caffeine in it. So it keeps you a little peppy, but it's not like another coffee kind of situation.
Right.
Especially if it's a flight you have to stay awake for, kind of, flying east to west kind of
Makes
situation.
sense.
So,
well,
Coke on an airplane, good.
I kind of brought that up also to steer the conversation in the direction of I saw Fast X today.
Did they drink a Corona on an airplane?
No, but there was a scene on an airplane, and I don't know if any of you care if I spoil this because that movie's stupid anyway. But so John Cena and is on an airplane with Vin Diesel's son.
That sounds like a joke.
So John Cena was on an airplane
and a nun
with
walks
Vin
in.
Diesel's son. Yeah. Priest, a rabbi, and a minister.
They're like, so then they realize like, oh, there's some bad guys on the plane and we got to escape. So previously to this, John Cena had what looked like a kayak on top of his car that they loaded into the plane. But they go, try to escape the bad guys on the plane. They go to the under cargo hold, and it wasn't a kayak, but a tiny 2-person like tiny plane. And this plane was fueled by airplane bottles of vodka that he started dumping into the fuselage. He's like teaching, the kid like, oh, this is how science works. Like we need like some sort of fuel for this plane to combust. And it's like, really? I don't know if airplane bottles of vodka are going to do it. And then this is not a cargo plane, but anyway, the 2 like trap doors for a cargo plane would like opened up, and then they just like dropped out of the sky into this tiny other plane. It was like the most ridiculous scene from one of the Fast movies that I've ever seen. It was great.
They do go to space in the last one.
They did. This was slightly less ridiculous, but I thought more funny.
All right,
Ian.
2 questions.
Yeah.
How do they get to the cargo hold?
So he's like it pays to have friends in high places, and that was like a little joke. But he befriended the flight attendant, and the flight attendant somehow has a key to access the cargo hold, which through like a hole in the floor of the plane, which I don't think you can normally do. But yeah,
I don't think
so he like puts a little thing, and like opens it up, and then they just like slip on down there. He lured all 3 bad guys to the back of the plane as they got up to go to the bathroom, and then there's a scene that's just cut with like those 3 guys knocked out like in the toilet, like as they like sneak down under the plane.
Nice.
Yeah.
Second question. Why didn't they load normal bottles of vodka in the car that they put on the plane?
These are great questions. If you can sneak on an entire jet onto a bigger jet, why not larger bottles of vodka? Or like real gas? I don't know.
I'm kind of just imagining like Vin Diesel's son, who I don't even know what they look like, but I'm just imagining Vin Diesel's son getting into this smaller plane, and then he like throws on his like red scarf and like his like goggles and he's like fucking the Red Baron and Snoopy.
Not quite. I was hoping, because it's been at like I think I skipped 8 and 7 and maybe part of 9. But so I was a little confused. But I was really expecting Vin Diesel's son to look like a tiny Vin Diesel, like bald.
Just a shorter Vin Diesel.
Yeah, but no, he looks like a normal person.
Was it about family ultimately?
It was about family, and there was a barbecue at the beginning where they're all getting together and cracking Coronas and
all right.
Yeah.
Maybe kind of like how Vin Diesel has a son. The airplane also had a son.
It was a smaller
I see
airplane.
the parallels there.
Yeah. Right.
Excellent.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, that's good to hear, but I want to circle back to Evan's previous comment, which is airplane drinks, and ask that of Ian. Ian, if you're on an airplane, what beverage do you get?
I don't really understand why it's a question. Ginger ale. That's the only answer. That's the only right answer. I have never been on a plane and gotten anything besides ginger ale.
Never trying to like maybe get a little wasted on the plane, feeling like a little Jack and Coke.
Yeah,
I ain't paying for that.
That's fair. That's true. If you get the little like drink coupons.
Like, someone snuck them too.
I don't know, like if they cancel your flight or something. Sometimes they'll give them out. Or...
Yeah. Still always about the ginger ale.
Look, I've never drank on an airplane because it sounds awful. like
you also get like more drunk because of the altitude.
Yeah. But it's just like I'm gonna be stuck in this tiny room for like 3 to 10 hours or whatever. I Maybe I want to like take a nap, but otherwise I see no appeal in it.
See, some people think the exact opposite, and they say,
Yeah.
I'm going to be stuck in this room for 3 to 5 hours. I might as well get a little drunk.
On my
So I don't
flight
have
to
to think about it
Hawaii,
too much.
my flight to Hawaii, these parents were just fucking wasted. Like
Whoa.
their kids were screaming, and they were screaming because they were just like, "Oh, we're all drunk and we're going to Hawaii." And I was like, "This was a mistake." And they're like, and the flight attendant walks by, they're like, "Sir, we're out of Jack Daniels," and he's like, "We can't be. You can't be serious."
What the fuck? This sounds like Cheaper by the Dozen or something.
They drank the plane out of alcohol.
Wow!
Damn!
Congratulations.
When are we going to be able to eat gummies? The funny gummies on the plane.
Good question.
Once it becomes legal in multiple countries, like on a federal level.
Why isn't airspace the same as like maritime law, where it's like
well, technically it is, but it's still
then legalize
illegal.
The weed in the air.
Yes. Well,
legalize the air weed.
So from my understanding is that when you're in international waters, there are certain different rules that apply, but each individual cargo vessel is a representative of the country that they're originally from, and the rules apply to those people from that vessel on
country or state.
Well, see, that's the problem. You've run into the first problem in your presupposition.
I mean, if you just take a private
law.
plane, like you could do whatever you want.
If ever there was a good argument for small government,
it was eating weed gummies on an airplane.
Yep.
I like that you're respectful enough where you're like, no smoking on airplane. We don't want to bring that back. Just weed gummies.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a health concern, but like, why can't I just like fucking melt into my chair?
You could easily just like sneak that into like a half open bag of like Welch's gummies, right? Like you could just toss a few in there. And
you gotta watch out for the dogs.
If the dogs are around, like that's the thing is those gummies are so sniffingly powerful. So they smell strong.
What? You guys are thinking too small. Just eat like 3 of them before you go through security.
Oh, true.
By the time you get to the other side, it's gonna
kick in. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about edibles that many people don't tell you is that when you have multiple of them, it's kind of like it waits until it's kind of like in Zelda when you have the stamina gauge and it like, goes through one and then it goes through the next one, then the next one. It's like it doesn't hit you all at once. It actually will wait until the next one is ready for you to for the the next one to hit.
Oh, I don't
know what you just said. I don't have any idea what you said.
That's the thing they don't tell you about it, actually.
Well, if I eat a weed gummy and I can suddenly like climb the side of a mountain freehand with no assistance, then that sounds great. So sign me up.
Tell me if this is anything. Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Nice.
Just him sitting down, like cracking some brews with his friends.
How fratty is Link? He doesn't give that vibe.
No.
Fratty. Link.
What?
Fratty Link. Fucked a lot in college. All right. Hands down. Like he was like the cool guy at the parties, and everyone's like, "Oh, is Link gonna be there? Like Link's so cool," and he's just like there. He doesn't say shit.
He doesn't say shit, but he kills it at beer pong every time, and everyone's like, Link.
Press ZL. Press ZL and ZR to do a keg stand.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hear Link's gonna be there with the master bong. It's gonna be awesome.
Yep.
The bong that seals the darkness.
It's got the Triforce carved into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
He just like jams out on his ocarina like for like 2 hours straight.
He plays Wonderwall on it.
Link fucking like, he's at the park zip-lining.
Slacklining.
Whatever.
Oh shit. Oh shit. He would. Oh my god, Link totally would.
Zelda's there like, Link, we really got to study for the big test. And Link's like, shut the fuck up, bitch. I'm playing my ocarina ziplining right now.
Man. Yep. Well, your interpretation of the character talks a lot more than I think he does normally.
It's all in the gestures. It's a lot of like this, a lot of this. That. Yeah.
He's good at doing like flips too. So like if you ask him to do one, he'll like do a backflip for you.
If anyone went to clown college, like mime school, it's like.
Okay, this is a little different.
Comment.
Are you saying when you go to mime school they have like frat parties, but it's like they're all trapped in like boxes kind of situation?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, excellent. Well, this is all. Let's move on to the main section of the show now. This is I Choose You, mostly the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. Each week, we come up with a new Pokemon that we determine the best, most delicious recipes for, share those recipes with one another, and then we vote for who has the best recipe. This week, the Pokemon is Shuppet. And we're going to start the show, not with me, even though I won last week. Let's say with Ben.
Gasp. Well, I'll just say this to get out ahead of it. Shuppet, I hardly know it. Also, I'll start off this with where I kind of was thinking immediately when I was getting into this recipe, which was Shuppet. Why not shuck it? As in, Shuppet equals corn.
But like a way easier like ear of corn to shuck than regular corn.
Is it evil corn?
It is evil corn.
Is it like blue corn?
It's ghost corn. And it is more like blue corn, is actually what I was thinking.
Oh.
Because when I was looking at Shuppet and I was thinking about shucking it, I was thinking that its general shape, which is like, classic ghost, sheet, ghost shape, reminded me of a blue corn tortilla.
Nice. I ate one of those today.
There you go. I see. I already got Jeremy's vote.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking, a lot of talk about how Shuppet makes people feel. Not a lot of talk about where Shuppet comes from. Which.
Not about how Shuppet feels.
Yeah.
Well, I was just, imagining trying to find the origin story for Shuppet, and I just kind of, along this corn line can imagine that like when they're born, they all are kind of like all packed up next to each other in little kernels, right? And so it's like the Shuppet is the corn kernel, basically. And so it's like a giant stalk of blue corn that is full of ghosts, basically.
Ben, are you worried that you're like you like go to the farmer's market and the farmer's like, corn's haunted, and you've got like a whole like barrel full and it's just filled with ghosts?
Well, I would be worried if I were going to be consuming it, but this is kind of like one of those like kind of witchcraft recipes, you know what I mean? Where it's like you make it for your rival or like your enemy, your nemesis, if you will. And you kind of make this cursed corn and then you feed it to them, and then they have horrible nightmares / have really crazy emotional distress, all the things that you would want a nemesis to experience. Yeah.
So this is an evil recipe.
This is a little, I wouldn't say evil. I would say dubious, mischievous, mayhaps. It's not going to like kill them. It's not going to maim them in any serious way. It's just going to like, it's a little bit of a prank.
Well, so if like prom's tomorrow and like you don't like the person, like Tyler is going to become the prom king tomorrow, and you want to get back at him, so you give him like some Shuppet tortillas for in his like breakfast burrito or whatever, and he like has a nightmare where he's like he loses his pants and he flunks the final, and because of that he oversleeps and he misses prom.
Wow, that's a pretty severe.
Jeez.
It's exactly like that, Jeremy.
I would never wish that on my worst enemies.
But basically what we're going to be doing is to make this blue corn tortilla out of Shuppet, we're going to be making a blue corn chicken enchilada. With
Ben, that's what I had for lunch.
I see. I already got Jeremy's vote. But it gets better because instead of your run-of-the-mill enchilada sauce, you're going to use a ghost pepper enchilada sauce.
Nice.
Oh, so this will kill you.
So it might cause you some intestinal distress as well.
You'll have a bad dream and then you'll wake up and be like, oh, I need to shit so bad. It's more like
Exactly.
shit it, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I don't.
Only what you would wish upon your nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, to make the Shuppet blue corn tortillas, you're going to take a couple Shuppets. I would say, since they are fairly big, I would say you probably only need 4 or 5 of them. But you're gonna pluck them out of their little corn ear, and then you're gonna dry them out. You're gonna grind them up. You're gonna mix them into a dough with some water, and then you're gonna roll them out into these flat sheets, just like how Shuppet kind of was to begin with. Then you're gonna cook the tortillas on the stove, and then once they're all once you have a big stack of them, then you're gonna move into your enchilada cooking phase, which is gonna involve your oven obviously heated up, a baking sheet with the edges of it greased, and then you're gonna want a shredded chicken mixture with some cheese, and you're gonna want some enchilada sauce. And for this enchilada sauce with ghost peppers, you're going to want to roast some ghost peppers, tomatoes, garlic, and onion in an air fryer. Once they are roasted for about 7 minutes, you're going to put them in the food processor with some water, blend that up a little bit so it's consistent, and then you're going to cook it for a little bit, 30 minutes or so, simmer it. And then you have your sauce ready to go. So by this point, you've got now an assembly station of tortillas, sauce, and chicken and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're going to go layer by layer, putting the tortilla down. Maybe you even soak it in the enchilada sauce to make sure that it's nice and moist down there. And then you're just going to maybe do 4 or 5 layers of that, kind of like a lasagna style, casserole style.
Lasagna.
Toss that in the oven, let it cook for about 30 or 40 minutes, and then you're going to take it out and maybe serve it with an egg on top.
Nice.
Oh, breakfast time.
Breakfast?
Cursed breakfast.
Yeah,
Yes.
cursed breakfast. Would you feed this lasagna style enchilada to Garfield?
Only if you were really pissed at him. Like you're ready to cause him some emotional harm.
Well, I mean, John has every reason to be mad at Garfield. He keeps like inviting a clown into his house. He keeps kicking his dog off of a table.
Yeah.
So yes, Ian.
When the person, like the nemesis who eats it,
Yeah.
when they do they also, are they able to speak Shuppetese?
Shuppetese.
Shuppetese nuts.
Oh, nice.
All right.
I've been waiting 5 minutes to do that.
Lick
The
my
hand was
balls.
raised several times.
I rest my
well.
case.
Would it be
Anyway.
better to serve this for breakfast or dinner? Because you said it gives them bad dreams, but maybe they won't take a nap during the day, so they have to wait, 12 to 18 hours to have their bad dreams.
Yeah, so that's a good call. I think it's easier usually for me to make enchiladas in the evening, but sometimes a day-old enchilada with an egg on top is just as good as the freshest one. So, and maybe your nemesis is more likely to be taken off their guard in the morning time versus in the evening time when they might have had time to, arrange for all their protective spells and amulets to be cast. So it really just depends on your nemesis's schedule and like what they will and won't accept at a certain time during the day. I might opt for a breakfast trickery.
That sounds delicious.
Well, I mean, look, if it didn't give me bad dreams and a flaming asshole, this sounds delicious.
Yes.
Yes.
Another question.
If your arch nemesis eats these, like, imagine they eat a little bit, they go do something, they come back, they eat another one. Does it stack like the stamina wheel in Breath of the Wild?
Can you get 3 circles of
Pain.
Yes.
For the 3 circles of pain.
Yeah, it is. It's a good thing you asked that. The curse is dependent on the dosage. Yeah. So if you eat a full square in the breakfast time versus a couple bites throughout the day, it will stack. Yep, it does stack.
Oh, well, that's good to know. If I eat enough of it, will the dreams suddenly become so extreme that they become good? It's like the episode of Futurama where he drinks 100 cups of coffee.
Oh.
This again is going to depend on your nemesis and their own
Break through the
personal
barrier.
abilities. Exactly. If they are able to, control their curse and their body's gastrochemical properties better than the average bear, then it probably will turn. I don't want to speak to your nemesis's abilities.
So, like, you're saying if you were to feed this to, say, like, Paul Atreides' mother after she goes through the spice agony, she'd be able to metabolize and change the chemical components of the food, thus subverting your evil plan.
Yeah. Yes, I would.
100%. That's what Dune 3 is about.
Oh. The enchilada so spicy it makes you
Yes.
fiery poops.
Yes.
Blue corn of Dune.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Children of Corn.
Yeah. Children of the Corn. I mean, that's already a book, so unfortunately.
Children of the blue corn.
The blue
Yes.
corn.
Okay.
Well, there it is.
I hate to say it still sounds like you're playing off of the Stephen King book, so.
I just have to say, I love corn that is different colors. That's
I like
cool.
corn.
I like corn. Exactly.
The lumps and the knobs, It's got it.
Ben's
Yeah,
off the
multicolored
cop
corn.
this week.
Truly.
It's a beautiful
Truly.
thing. I think it is one of life's like few gifts.
Yes.
Even
Well,
though people can't digest corn properly, it's still that's the thing. Like people were not meant to digest corn.
Oh.
But
Well,
we eat it anyway.
it's been sustaining us for thousands of years, so.
Well,
I know.
Yell at some guy who's like, oh, what's this? And shoved it down his mouth and was like, more of that, please, kind of situation. But I will say I was at the supermarket yesterday and I walked past a big big tub of watermelon next to a big tub of corn. And I was like, summer is here, baby.
Oh yeah.
That's how you know. All right, let's move on to one Ian Davis. What do you got for us this week?
The Jim Henson of the so-called Jim Henson.
Yeah, you've got big fucking shoes to fill, so you better wow me. Better give me a Kermit the Frog level performance tonight.
The Kermit the Frog.
Consider this. Jeremy, what's the difference between a puppet and a Muppet?
Well, a Muppet is a combination of a marionette and a puppet, so it has strings as well as a hand that goes into it.
Mm-hmm. So, how are you defining a puppet?
A puppet is the definition of a puppet is you put your hand in it.
Exactly. 2 words. Finger sandwich.
Not to be confused with a knuckle sandwich.
Yes.
Correct. No,
But instead of gripping it with your fingers, you put a finger in it and eat it.
I mean, you could do that with hot dogs.
I mean,
so I have for you 3 different finger sandwiches, or tea sandwiches, for those of you who don't know what a finger sandwich is. Basically just like a crustless, little itty, 1-bite sandwich that you eat with your fingers. The common thread here, obviously, both are manipulated by the hand. But also, the way we're incorporating the Shuppet is you take
Would
it.
you not consider most food manipulated, quote, by the hand?
Now, if you're using a fork, I feel pretty stupid right now.
Ben doesn't realize that Ian only uses telekinesis to consume his food.
Yeah. Take the Shuppet. Reduce it down into an ectoplasm.
Okay.
Because we're making ectoplasm mayonnaise.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
Give me the mayonnaise.
Yeah.
All right. So you get the mayo. Maybe it's like a nice, rich purpley blue color, like the Shuppet. Sandwich number 1, tomato cheddar. Spread plasm mayonnaise on white bread. Sandwich with sliced tomato, aged cheddar, and watercress. Trim the crusts and cut into pieces.
Okay.
Second one, cucumber butter. Mix 4 tablespoons softened butter, ½ teaspoon grated lemon zest, 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh herb, and then of course a little of the plasmayo.
Nice.
Fresh herb.
Spread on white bread,
Fresh herb.
and sandwich with sliced cucumber. Trim the
Excellent.
crusts and cut into pieces. And grilled shrimp ham.
Whoa.
Puree.
Grilled shrimp
Shrimp
and
ham?
ham or grilled shrimp ham?
The people at Food Network knew you were going to ask that, so it is grilled shrimp hyphen ham.
Is that just like the meaty bit of the shrimp that you cut off?
Or is it the smaller part of the ham?
What is the shrimp of ham?
Consider this. Puree a 1/4 cup of jarred piquillo peppers with 3 tablespoons of plasmayo.
Okay.
Spread on white bread.
Okay.
Sandwich with grilled shrimp and sliced serrano ham.
Oh,
Shrimp
it's
and ham.
Well, it's
Okay.
just shrimp and ham. It's some fucking guy at the Food Network was like, not today, no ampersand here.
Ham.
Trim the crusts, cut into pieces, enjoy. 3 variations of some Shuppet finger sandwiches.
Plasma
That
mayonnaise.
Finger puppet, finger sandwich.
That
Yeah.
sounds excellent. I am the guy at an event, a wedding that is just constantly eating the finger sandwiches. Like I
Do you-
devour.
Will those be at your wedding?
No, because I would eat them all.
Are you drawn to them because they just look so comically small in your hands?
I think that's it. Like I could literally be like, I can fit 4 of them on these 4 fingers, and I'll just like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because you always wanted to fulfill that, like, fucking Tom and Jerry fantasy of eating a sandwich with your whole body.
Exactly.
So when it's so tiny, then you can do it. You can really, yeah.
Mhm.
Instead of me making a fool of myself on the platter or the table holding all of the appetizers, I could just
Well, eventually one day we'll invent a technology where we can put a bunch of things on a sandwich, like a regular size sandwich, but it's really tall, and then we like squish it and put it entirely in our mouth in one bite, and then it extends in our throat into the shape that it was.
That sounds less of a technological feat and more of like an evolutionary feat.
That's true. Maybe wait a few thousand years,
Yeah.
but practice now, because otherwise we won't get there.
Yeah, we need stretchy throats. Come on, people.
Oh,
Yes,
Yeah.
Evan.
I'm imagining that this plasmayo combined with like Shrek ketchup would make the most cursed Thousand Island sauce.
Yeah, I agree.
Put that on like a
God.
a Big Mac.
Just purple and green. That could be a Shrek burger or something right there.
A shirter.
Well, I do have to say, I like your idea for the ectoplasmayo. The color, I think, is going to be kind of a little off-putting, especially on these sandwiches that are, usually served at kind of a social function,
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I assume the color, the mayo color will be coming through and visual.
Well, it's a very thin layer. Like, this is
Okay.
very delicate. You don't fist the puppet. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Sure.
So
I don't know. It
it's-
could be like caviar is very deep and pretty rich and dark in color. I feel like this could be just like fancy mayonnaise.
Okay.
And see, whereas Ben's food is like a little evil, a little like I'm gonna ruin this guy's whole fucking career with these enchiladas. I was actually taking the opposite route where like because the Shuppet like sucks the pain out of you.
Hmm.
Oh,
if,
true.
If you read the flavor text,
Right.
So I was imagining like you eat these sandwiches, the sandwich like when it goes into your tum tum, pulls all the negative like that ball of stress that was in your stomach, just like
Uh-huh.
sucks it right up, and then you shit it out.
Oh, because I was
It's
wondering
like-
where it was gonna go.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like a Xanax sandwich.
Yeah.
Without the side effects.
Yes.
So the sandwich makes you shit out your sadness, is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Mm.
Don't
All
you
right.
wish we all could do that?
Instead of writing it down and putting it into a large burning puppet, you
Yeah.
shit it out instead.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Flush your worries away.
Yeah. There you go. Flushed
Wish
away.
your shit away.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that, but with less turfs.
Yeah.
It sounds
Uh,
like it.
Well, let's move on to our next recipe. Evan, what do you have for us this week?
Yeah, so I prior to the show, I did say, "Boy, do I have the recipe for you," and it was very like happenstance. I was not thinking of this at the time, and I literally Googled PET recipe just so I could like get the pun in there. So I was like, "What?" And or starts with pet. So
Pet recipe.
yeah, no, not how to cook your pets.
Yeah.
But so one thing that I did come across that was I've had before, I just didn't know what the name meant. So we're making a Shuppet dessert, which is a French Canadian recipe dessert that literally translates to nuns farts.
Oh shit!
Yes.
Wow, a lot of scatological recipes this week.
Yeah, and what exactly is this? What does this nun fart look like? What does it taste like? It's essentially a take on like a cinnamon roll, using like a pastry dough. So it's very like light and fluffy and flaky, and it has brown sugar, cinnamon, butter. No, so I looked it up. No one knows why it's called nun's fart. Well, like to the extent of like it, nuns used to serve them in schools like forever ago, and I think just because school kids are assholes, they're like, this tastes like a nun's fart or whatever, and it just like translated.
Or like I can imagine old people being like, well, this tastes as sweet as a nun's fart. Like some sort of
the opposite. Is it because like a cinnamon roll is kind of sphincter-esque? Is that what they're getting at?
Wow, you're like a Catholic school, and you're like, please, mother, like, why are these called nun's farts? It's like, looks like my asshole.
Yep. They're like, that's what it looks like. Yep.
Oh God. Well, so anyway, how we're making the Shuppet dessert is I'm basically presupposing that Shuppet is basically just like ready to go pastry dough. You roll it out and it's basically a flat.
Ooh, you get it in like a Pillsbury, like you like pop it open and it like
you like push the spoon into it. Yeah. So you basically just like get that, cut it into strips and roll them into little like snaky things. And then you dust some brown sugar and some cinnamon and a little bit of salted butter all over that. And you just roll them up, put them in the oven. And it basically is like a purple cinnamon roll at that point.
You wouldn't say that you crop dust them. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nice. It's a little bit. Does it look like an ube roll?
It very much does. Yeah, like this absolutely would. Ian.
After they come out of the oven, do you ice the?
No.
You gotta be cocky.
So that. No, these nuns farts are famously without icing.
Oh.
Yeah, so the sweetness is just on the inside.
It really is.
Yeah.
This really is.
Really makes you savor the fart.
Yeah, when they named it that, they're like, we can't take this too far.
Yeah.
we have to put limits here, or people are gonna lose it.
Wow. And you've eaten this?
I mean, I've had it. Yeah. So I used to in high school and through college, honestly. There was days when I took French in high school and college, and famously all the French English classes are like, let's have a day where we make food and in like French food and share it with the class. And I think someone made it. That's the one time I had it.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say that. Oh yeah, when I was younger, I lived in a French Canadian monastery.
A nunnery.
This is what the nuns would make.
I was basically living the Sound of Music with.
Yeah, well, I will say, calling something like a nun's fart and like it's like a pastry is very like Chaucer. You like read the Canterbury Tales, and there's a lot of stories there about people like farting. So like you could make it very like historical and literary in that manner.
Right. Absolutely.
So I think you can tie it all together.
So there you have it.
Okay. Well, I also have a dessert item today, and it occurred to me while I was so sometimes I think how like people come up with their like craziest recipes when they're like locked in their house and they're like in a cupboard kind of situation. I feel like I when I'm outside, the opposite comes to me. My recipe, I wouldn't say is super crazy. It's medium. So you've had a nice dinner. Maybe it's kind of fancy, and you wanna have a digestif. You want to have something to make it go down nice and smooth, but something a little sweet. So that's why this week we're gonna prepare for your after meal course a little Shuppet, which is Shuppet made into sherbet. And the sherbet I've prepared tonight is a blackberry sherbet to match the color of the Shuppet. And instead of blackberries, we're just gonna get the Shuppet, and we're gonna. I think it's just like a sheet, so you just like take it off and air it out, like flap it up and down, yeah, and make sure it's nice and dead, and then cut it into strips and put it in the old food processor. I think we're good to go.
I love that.
And that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna get some Shuppet sheets. We're gonna get a food processor, and we're gonna get some sugar, and we're gonna blend those together until they're nice and smooth. And then we're gonna mix in some buttermilk, and then also start pureeing it again until it's nice and smooth. And then we're gonna put in a baking dish, and we're gonna pour the mixture out and let it freeze. And then we're gonna take it out after about 2 hours, and then we're gonna run it through the food processor one more time, scoop it out, make a little fun shape. Maybe we have like a Shuppet shaped container that it goes in. That's so when you fill it in, it like turns into the color that it is, and then you eat it out of it, and that's why we're having sherbet.
So, go ahead, Ian.
I just want to say, I love sherbet. I might like it more than ice cream. But boy, like I try to tell myself it's healthier than ice cream, and it sure as hell isn't. It's like 3 times the sugar.
Small quantities.
And this one will haunt you.
Yeah. Mine doesn't have any like ghost properties. Maybe if you eat it, you see a ghost. I don't know.
But not a scary ghost, just like
just like a regular ghost.
So what's the difference between sherbet, and sorbet?
Well, sherbet isn't a real thing.
It's not?
Excuse me?
No. It's sherbet, but people have just added the R to it over time.
What?
The second R, like
Sherbet.
as a pronunciation thing. Sorbet, I believe, is just like frozen like fruit water, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, it's a water base.
So sherbet actually has like cream in it still.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, got it. It's like gelato. Then what's the I get gelato's Italian. I'll just end it at that.
Mamma mia. Yeah, Mario's there. I believe that if I'm remembering correctly, is that for gelato, I don't know the exact process, but you still do the like creaming of your dairy to make gelato, where that's not the case when you're doing sherbet.
Got it.
You just get some. In this case, the recipe called for buttermilk, but you can use cream as well. Just mix it, freeze it, kind of situation. Good to go.
Nice.
All right. Let's review our recipes from Ben. We have.
Oh, Ian's
I'm
got
not
one
fucking
more
finished.
I'm
Ian's
so
being
sorry.
silenced right now. I want to let the listeners know.
This is my fault. Okay, Ian, what do you have to say?
I don't know that I've bought sherbet in one color, like solid color. Is this like a solid, like I get a whole pint of it, or is it like a part of a trifecta?
Well, I would say this is like kind of like at a restaurant, and it comes in a small glass, so it's only one color. So and maybe it's not even like something you order. It's just like when they bring you the check, you get a tiny glass of sherbet to go along with it.
It's in like one of those egg cups. It's just like one bite.
Yes. Excellent.
Now you may continue.
Yeah. Okay. You go to a really fancy restaurant and like your main course costs like $50, but it's a tiny thing, and you're like one bite, and you just do it all at once, kind of situation.
Yes.
All right, recipes. Ben, Shuppet haunted enchiladas.
Japenchiladas, if you will.
Shuppet excuse me. From Ian, Shuppet finger sandwiches with plasmayonnaise. From Evan, nuns farts. I don't remember what the French was.
Shuppet dessert.
Shuppet dessert. Nuns farts. And from me, sherbet. Please vote.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Having a difficult time deciding what I want.
there we go.
I thought you were going to say, yeah. Well, Ben's the undecided voter.
You know. Okay, just gonna have to go with my gut.
Yeah.
All right, so I have the results here, and Evan is this week's winner.
Wow.
With the nun's fart.
Right. Like the
Evan
nuns.
got 2 votes, I got a vote, and Jeremy got a vote.
Oh, wow.
It's all about. This is the first time in a long time that I've been surprised. Like new food has entered the show. You know what I mean?
Oh.
New food?
What kind
Like-
of new food?
Well, like, all right, enchiladas. Eat them all the time. Sure.
Yeah.
Eat it.
Not new.
Not all the time, but I love it.
Mhm.
But like, never heard of a nun's fart. Like it, you know. It,
It's not that complicated either. I expected it to be some like weird, crazy French dish, and it's just no. It's just a French cinnamon roll, basically.
I love a good cinnamon roll.
But with a wacky name. We love
Mhm.
that shit.
Well, wacky names are what makes the world go round. It makes the show go round.
I mean, it's why the show exists. So.
Yes, that is true. All right, let's move on to Whale Lord's Mail Horde, where we read your email sent into ichoosepod@gmail.com. Ben, can you read this email from Fishboy?
This is actually from Owen, who writes in
Their
and
email says Fishboy.
Okay. Well, they address themselves as Owen, so I'm going to say that that's what they would wish to be preferred as. And they write, "Hello, my name is Owen, and I'm writing to you today to submit a Shuppet recipe, smiley face. According to Bulbapedia.net, which I forget is the actual address of Bulbapedia, occasionally it will display a large pink tongue. The first thing that came to mind when I read this was beef tongue. So my Shuppet recipe is some delicious melt-in-your-mouth tacos de lengua Shuppet.
Nice.
For this, you'll need 5 Shuppet tongues, a half white onion, sliced, 5 cloves of garlic, crushed, 1 bay leaf, salt to taste, 3 tablespoons vegetable oil, 5 Roma tomatoes, 5 serrano peppers, half diced onion, which I thought we already had one, but anyway, and then 2 packages of corn tortillas. You'll want to place the Shuppet tongues in a slow cooker and cover with water. Add the onion slices, garlic, and bay leaf, season with salt. Cover and cook on low overnight for 8 hours. Remove the tongues and shred the meat into strands. Heat the oil in a skillet over medium heat. Cook the tomatoes and peppers in the hot oil until softened on all sides. Remove the tomatoes and peppers in a blender, keeping the oil on the heat. Season with salt. Blend briefly until still slightly chunky. Cook the diced onion in the skillet until translucent. Stir in the tomato mixture. Cook another 5 to 6 minutes. Build the tacos by placing shredded tongue meat into a tortilla and spooning salsa over the meat. Enjoy, says Owen.
Sounds good. I could go for some tacos any day of the week. Thanks for writing in, Owen. And you're this first-time writer, so always send in more emails if you feel so inclined. Evan, can you read this email from Mike?
I can. Mike says, "Hey boys, real quick this time. We're going to use 2 ghosts to get real sloppy over here. First ingredient is Ghost energy drink flavor of your choice. I don't touch the stuff, so you executively decide for me."
I have seen them advertised.
Oh, Ghost is an actual like brand?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got a little cartoon ghosty on it.
Yeah, I don't touch the stuff myself.
Yeah, I didn't know that was the case. I thought it was like, whatever. I don't drink energy drinks, so I don't know.
Second is the finest spirits, freshly distilled from your Shuppet.
Nice.
It's a spoopy Four Loko, which the real world equivalent of can also be a little scary. Boo. All capital letters. I know I'm a little bit older than you boys, but I wanted to remind the world that when I was a freshman and sophomore in college, the ingredients of Four Loko were malt liquor, caffeine, color, and flavor. And that's why they were discontinued for several months before it just became malt liquor with flavor in it. Audible deep breath, like comically deep. Namaste.
Well,
Mike.
I have a question. Why I can order a coffee and a beer at a fucking restaurant. Why isn't that a crime?
See, I thought they brought the caffeine back just in like a slightly acceptable FDA like approved amount.
I
don't
don't know
know.
the whole story. I'm sure someone's made a whole oral history about it or something. But from what I understand, I think that there was people who experienced like medically bad things from drinking Four Loko.
Yeah, you get like
the
close to like heart
caffeine.
attacks and
Yeah. So it might have been that the level of caffeine that was in the product was unsafe or something. I don't know.
And the uppers and the downers don't really mix too well, just to begin with.
They're not. Definitely not meant to be. I mean, if you go to a 7-Eleven, no one can stop you, Jeremy, from getting a beer and a coffee at the exact same time and chugging them. But I think regulatory wise, someone did have to stop Four Loko from putting a beer and a coffee in the exact same can and selling it for a modest price.
I can buy like an Irish coffee though. How is that not a crime?
I think it's like the level of caffeine that was in the drink.
Yeah, it was like
but I don't
chemically
know.
high.
I actually don't know.
I just imagine Jeremy walking into a 7-Eleven, like cracking open a beer in the store and like pouring it into a cup of 7-Eleven coffee and then walking out.
I get like a beer and I crack it open and then I pour a 5-hour energy into it. And I was like, you can't stop me.
The working man's Michelada or something.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's like that episode of Simpsons where he becomes a truck driver and he's like, oh, I'm so sleepy, but I need to stay awake. But I'm so tired, but I also need to go to sleep. So he takes sleeping pills and pet pills at the same time. And he's like nodding off and waking up every like 2 seconds. Anyway, all right. So let's wrap up this recipe by picking next week's Pokemon in a segment I like to call Pick 'em On. I didn't really consider what we would do next week. Do we have any suggestions? Maybe we do like a Gen 4 or something this week.
Let's see.
What about Chatot? Did we do Chatot?
We did.
Ah, fuck.
Did we do Apom? Ambipom? Excuse me.
We
have
have done Apom at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We did most of the starters, I think.
Yeah.
Too.
How about
Haunch Pro?
Yes.
How about Shaman?
Oh,
Shaman.
Shaman?
Oh, Shaman's actually, that's a good one.
What
Yeah.
number is that?
Yeah.
It's like a grass hedgehog.
Yeah, it's like a less fucked up Sonic. It does have an edgy form.
Oh, yes. Okay, got it.
All right, send in your Shaman recipes to ichoosepod@gmail.com. Its name makes it sound like we're committing more of a crime than usual.
What is Shaman?
Yeah.
Shame.
ichoosepod@gmail.com. All right, let's start talking about plugs. Where can we find you on the internet, Ben?
You can follow me on Twitter at Ben C. Montoya, and you can follow me on Tumblr at thefearandnow.tumblr.com.
Ian.
Follow me on Instagram at Ian Reynolds Photo. That is my photography business. I shoot weddings. I shoot events. I shoot engagements. I shoot. You point and I shoot.
Nice.
Send me a DM. Let's figure something out. I will literally fly out to shoot your wedding if you pay for my ticket and hotel. Guarantee that's cheaper than hiring a photographer in your local area. Hit me up.
All right. Evan.
You can follow me on Twitter at E_Van Aubrey or on posts at E_Van.
All right. Okay. You can follow me on Twitter at VelocityPrime1, on Tumblr VelocityPrime1, and you can check out my writing at the-avocado.org. It's the-avocado.org. Jeremy Zielek. And now it's time to wrap up the show. This has been I Choose You, the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. You can catch us on your favorite podcast apps, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, or podcast catcher of choice. If you like our show, make sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify to help us go up the ranks. If you want more I Choose You goodness, may I suggest checking out the official I Choose You social media pages, I Choose Pod on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. If you want to become a part of the I Choose You community, head on over to the I Choose You Discord. Links are available in the episode description. We do fun things like events and recipe submissions, all that business in the I Choose You Discord. Lastly, but not leastly, check out the official I Choose You website, iChooseYou.menu. iChooseYou.menu has a full episode archive and merch store, all designed by one Evan Aubrey. That's iChooseYou.menu. And I think that wraps it up. So I've been your host and Alton Brown of the group, Jeremy Zielik.
I've been your friend on this show, Ben Montoya.
I've been Ian Davis, Jim Henson.
And not Vin Diesel's son, Evan Aubrey.
And to all the choosies out there in Radioland, in a while, Totodile.
Yeah, I choose you. Yeah, I choose you.
Everybody wants to be a master chef. Everybody wants to show their skill in the kitchen. Everybody wants to cook that cluncher, Finny in at the top of the grill. Each time you fry, gonna cook it just a little bit better. Each taste you try, boy, this frokie is nice and tender. It's a whole new world we cook in. It's a whole new place to eat. We're in season 6 with some brand new recipes, 'cause we're still gonna cook them all and make a pun or 2 or 3. It's a whole new world we cook in. It's a whole new place to eat. We're in season 6 with some brand new recipes, 'cause we're still gonna cook them all and make a pun or 2 or 3.